Swish. Pew. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to a new video. I'm Malicious Jasper, and today, or technically still today, maybe yesterday, I don't know when I'm gonna upload this. It was the open Stronghold beta for Guild Wars 2, so yeah, I thought I'd make a video about that, explaining and just giving my general thoughts about the game mode. So it was playable, or is still playable. It was playable for about a day, I think 24 hours. It was only one map. I don't really remember what it's called. Champions of something. I don't remember the map's name. I played it a couple of times and I just have a bad memory. So, what is Stronghold? Stronghold is a new game type that they're planning to release with Heart of Thorns. And if you want to compare it to something, compare it to a MOBA, which it kind of is. So let's talk about it. It's Battles of Champions, that's what it's called. Let's talk about the basics. There are two teams, a red team and a blue team, just like in Conquest and in the other game types. You have a guild lord and two gates. The Guild Lord is the final enemy that you have to defeat. You have to kill the Guild Lord, and then you win the game. The Guild Lord is protected by two gates and some elite guards. Now, how do you destroy the gates? Very simple. There are two types of enemies that you can spawn. Archers, which is basically good for using them against other players or shit like that, and the NPCs that guard the gates, you need archers for them mainly. And then you've got, I think they're called bombers or something. It's the Scrit thing. I think they're called Scrit bombers. And what they do is they bring bombs to the gate and they do a lot more damage. But I think once they bring the bomb, after that they'll die. While the archers, they will keep on attacking. So that's the two enemies, or the two allies that you can spawn. Of course, both teams can spawn it, so you will have to deal with the enemy archers and the enemy bombers as well. Now, how do you spawn these things? Very simple. There are two supply supply piles in the center of the map, and you have to do a sort of commune thing with them. And when you get struck by an attack, you will get interrupted, so you'll have to start again. And you can take up to two supplies, or you can commune twice. And you can see the little barrels next to your character, in your color. That's when you have supplies, and then you have to bring it to your barracks, and you can summon allies to help you fight. Also, both teams have a trebuchet, which can be used to just like in the battle of Kylo, you can use a trebuchet, will deal lots of damage. But in the matches that I played, I haven't seen anyone actually use it yet, so I don't know how viable it is, but that is something time will tell. And the last important thing is the Mist Essence. So I think 3 times in a match, Mist Essence will spawn. 1 time on your side, the other time on the enemy side. It depends, of course, which one will come first. And then 1 time at both sides at the same time. And if you commune with them, you can summon a hero. So that is actually pretty important, because I think it gives you a couple of buffs, and it's a pretty powerful ally that can do a bit of damage. So it's not a bad idea to try and get that. So that's how it works. You just gotta kill the enemy guild lord. It's kind of like a MOBA. You gotta take into account the enemy archers and the enemy bombers, the enemy players, enemy heroes if Mist Essence is in play, and the enemy guild lord and gates, and your own gates and your own guild lord. So that's things that you gotta keep into account. Now, I've played a couple of matches. Because it's still in beta, these are preliminary thoughts, of course, because it is still a beta. Things can still change, but I'm gonna talk what I thought, what my opinions are of the game type so far. So far, I'm really, really enjoying it. It's something completely different if you compare it to Conquest or even Deathmatch. I think the possibilities for more competitive play are interesting because I have a feeling it's a bit more complicated and a bit more compact. I have a feeling that this map is maybe as big as Conquest maps or even smaller, but it's more action packed. In Conquest, I feel that there's always a couple of points where battles can happen and there's space in between where nothing really happens. Here there's always something going on. It's you've got your own gates that you need to defend. You got the enemy gates that you need to bring down. You gotta make sure that you have supplies and all that jazz. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting, and I see that it has potential. It really has. I had a lot of fun playing it. So far so good. Hopefully they make a couple of more maps because so far we've only played the one. It was fun, but I'd like to see more maps. It's a pretty map. It's a really good looking map. Really fun to play, and I think that it's sort of more. The action is a little bit more focused, and there's so much you got to pay attention to. A lot more stuff than in Conquest. That's what I believe. That's from what I've played. I think you have to really, keep your eyes out on everything, because not only do you have your own gates, the enemy gates and the enemy lord and your own lord, you also have the enemy troops, the archers and the door breakers or bombers or whatever they're called. Sometimes you've got enemy heroes or your own heroes. You've got your supplies that you gotta keep track of, all that jazz, and it makes for really interesting gameplay, because you've got to, eventually you got to split it up and everybody has to have a role. So for competitive play, I think this can be really interesting, and if you take a look at everything here, I had a lot of fun playing it. It's more action packed. If I compare this to, I've said it before, but Conquest can be, it's difficult to say, but sometimes I find myself, I'm running to the next battle. Here you're always doing something, and that's what I believe that Stronghold is doing really, really well. There's always something to do. You're never really running for a very long time to the next thing. There's always something to do, whether it's going and getting supplies, or communing and trying to acquire a hero or whatever. There's a lot to do, and there's it's all focused more in a smaller space, and it allows for some more interesting gameplay, and also it allows for more competitive gameplay, because there's so much going on here on this map, and there's a lot of things you got to keep track. So I believe that this is an interesting way of dealing with competitive play. It can be really, really interesting. Of course, I played during the beta. People aren't used to this game mode yet. There's a lot of things, a lot of potential that you don't realize, or that you don't tap into. For instance, nobody used the trebuchets at all. Maybe it's one of the best things on the map, and really, really awesome. But so far nobody used it, but it's got potential. Trebuchets can be used to bombard the supply points and preventing the enemy team from getting supplies, which will prevent them from building shit like archers and door breakers. It's really, really interesting, and I believe that success on this map will all depend on good team coordination. So far, my opinion about this map is it is fun. It is so much fun to play. I had a lot of fun playing it. I see that it has a lot of potential. I don't know whether the map is balanced. That I do not know, because I mainly played with two professions. Necromancer and the Mesmer, and I suck at Mesmer, and that's something that I felt in the map as well. That my Mesmer was... I've never been a good Mesmer. I totally agree with that, but I believe that Mesmers are gonna have a very specific role on this map. As in, I don't think Mesmers are all that well suited for dealing with the archers and the door breakers. Against players, Mesmers can be a real pain in the ass, but against the NPCs, I don't know if Mesmers are such a good idea. Necromancer, I had a lot of fun playing with my Necromancer, especially probably the video that you're gonna see is me playing with my Necromancer. I love playing with the staff and using the marks. I think they're marks and wards, because I use ward of silence and shit as well. And that is something pretty interesting for the map, that you have this set path, so you know that they're probably gonna run onto your marks, and they'll get some damage and shit. So that's pretty interesting as well. I don't know how balanced it is for the other professions. I don't know if the balance of the map is good or not. I don't know. I feel I haven't played. I played a couple of matches, but I haven't had the time to play 10 matches with all of the professions, so I can't tell if the professions are equally balanced. Personally, I don't really think that there's going to be all too big of a problem with balancing, although I could be mistaken. And the question will also be, will the balance remain once they introduce the Revenant? Because we haven't been able to play this game mode with the Revenant. Maybe the Revenant will fuck the balance up completely, I don't know. And with the specializations, we haven't seen any of, well, we haven't been able to play with that yet, with any of that shit yet, so it's hard to tell whether the map is fully balanced. But so far, I don't think it's too bad. It's well built. It looks nice. You can easily see the minimap reveals a lot of information that you can probably use in dealing with the enemy. You can easily spot how much health your guild lord or how much health the gates has. That's pretty easy to spot. Overall, it's a fun map. But I hope it's not the only Stronghold map that we get to play. I hope they'll do more betas. That's one thing. Secondly, I hope that they make a couple of more maps, because so far we only have the one, and I cannot speak for the entire game mode right now. I can only tell you my thoughts on this map, and although I like it, it might be possible that the rest of the maps are not that great. I don't know. Even if there's any other maps, I don't really know anything about it. But so far, I'm really digging it, and the Arena is definitely on the right track with this. Definitely, this has more of a guild versus guild feeling to it from the original Guild Wars than Conquest or Team Deathmatch ever had. So I feel that this is more of a I don't know, this is something that I can see becoming really popular for guilds. I think this is something that can bring in real competitive play, although they've been doing better with their competitive scene. I think this might be, the money changer, that this might really bring in a lot of people. It's something that requires more, I think, a lot of organization. So it might be something that guilds will delve in a little bit quicker, and might be a little bit more for the, the more serious players. But it has potential. It has potential. It looks gorgeous. It reminds me a lot of, Battle of Kylo. This style, this Ascalonian kind of style. I really like it. I really like this style. It's fun to play. It's it's complicated, which I personally enjoy. I like when shit is more than meets the eye. Um, and if you do everything right, then it can be pretty interesting. Interesting game, because you gotta know when to deal with the enemy heroes, when to protect uh, your own archers and door breakers and your own hero, when you gotta deal with enemy players. It's interesting, and especially when you deal with stuff like the heroes, you can't cripple them or anything. They will always move at the same speed. You can't cripple them or anything like that. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be really interesting, and hopefully they keep it up. I don't know if the other maps are gonna be the same, but I do hope they keep up the good work. So far it looks amazing. It plays amazing. It's fun to play, and if there's ever gonna be another open beta, I would strongly recommend of checking it out, because it is fun. Let me tell you, you will not be bored. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.